We from Brooklyn, we're scrapping, it's part of life. Right. So we happen to be the type of journalists to start a fight. I was raised in Gleason's, I was in the precinct, but I beat the case with my sweet peak defense. You drinking if you think you beating us. If I have to, I'ma put on Margarito's gloves. Don't do it. I'm in the Barclays like I own it. What you expected? The way I seized the moment, they thought I was epileptic. The fight game can't survive without me. I throw shots that make fighters spit out their mouthpiece. Never days off, only days on. I represent the hood like I'm Trayvon. These moments in boxing are so proper, like when Floyd told Oscar he beat his whole roster. It's our action that speaks the loudest. Though we the sweet scientists, they ain't nothing sweet about us.
Still got power, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I never got hit by myself.
You know what? I think Barak wants to test some of your power.
You do?
Want to grab the
Put
bag
your
real
chin
quick?
right here.
Oh, no, not my chin, not my chin. But see, here at the Sweet Science, we really deal with the science of boxing. Now, the science of boxing is hitting and not getting hit. Now, usually when that phrase is brought up, it's talking about not getting hit, the beautiful defense. But here on this show, we're focusing on the other side, the hitting, the power.
And he's going to be getting hit.
You got to pick what punch, though. I can hit you with a good left hook or a right hand. It's all the way what you feel. I
didn't know he was going to be this game. You're a little too game, a little too happy for it.
I would say his right hand is his money punch, I think. Yeah. So I want to see him hit you with that.
I'm a little nervous right now. I'm going to hold the pad, and he's going to hit it as hard as he can. All right? So we got Kid Chocolate here, and he's going to take out all his frustration on the Sweet Scientist bag. Let's see how much power he got. Hit him in the chin now. I just want to say that's a nice punch, brother. That was a nice punch. Thank you very much. In his trench coat. I want to see you hitting that with somebody real soon in that race.
Very soon, man.
Hi, yo, what's up? This is Pete the Kid Chocolate Quillin. Yeah, I'm your mom and your girl's favorite fighter. And you watching The Sweet Scientist on dissect50.com.
All right, folks. We are The Sweet Scientists. I am your host. I go by the name of Ak.
And I'm the boxing bully Barak.
And we are going to bring you boxing in a different light. The dissect50.com. Today we have our special guest, as you can see, Pete Kid Chocolate Quillin. What's up, man?
Good, man. Your name is Ak. Your name is Barak. My name is Chop.
Chop, yeah, Chop.
Chop, big
Yeah.
Chop.
By way of Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yep.
But now you live in the beautiful state of New York, in Brooklyn.
Yes, sir.
New
Yes,
York.
sir.
First thing I want to get into is, where did you go after the loss to Jacobs? I mean, you didn't go like to hiding the way some fighters do after you lost. You know what's so funny? After that fight in the press conference, right? The way how gracefully you took that loss, you almost gained fans. I had people coming up to me and hitting me on Instagram. Yo, man, I like this dude, Pete. I mean, cats that were really hating on you before that started to like you. I guess just the way you express. You came there with your chin high on a press conference. Where did you get that pedigree from?
Actually, in the press conference, there was people with teary-eyed.
Oh, man,
I was
good.
one of them. I'm not gonna lie. I was definitely one of them. I thought you was gonna start praying right there because you was mentioning your brother.
I thought you had allergies and stuff. So you was crying.
That was your speech. I'm serious. Like, it really touched me. It touched a lot of people. I seen it touch a lot of people who normally hate on you, but when you did that changed the whole atmosphere of the whole room. It was an unbelievable time.
Well, I think all around, you never know a man until he go through some type of adversity, but sometimes people don't get to realize a person. But I've been like that, my whole life. You know, man, I started off from humble beginnings, and, I'm always try to teach my way to be more humble than I could ever be. You know what I'm saying? So when I answer where I was at, I went outside and enjoyed the weather, man. Enjoyed my family. I didn't go into no cubby hole, hiding under no rock, you know what I mean? Because I'm a man. And I do this for a sport, and I do this for my job. So at the end of the day, as long as I get paid for what I do, then I can't be really too mad about it.
And you definitely got paid a hefty check that day.
Oh, was it a humble check or?
Yeah. It was a heavy check.
One of them ignorant checks.
Yeah. I mean, does that happen after the fight? I know you have to see the doctor, you got to see the commission, piss in the cup, make sure you're not on no HGH and stuff like that, and then they hand you the check after you pass all them tests?
No, usually they be looking for you right away to give you a check.
Check.
Say, man. Depending on the promoter. Depending on the promoter, they ain't looking for you to give you a check.
Well, since Al Heyman, I don't think he had any issues.
We ain't got none of them problems.
No. So do you look for the person?
No,
who is it from the PBC camp that hands this check?
I don't know. I just know that they give it to me.
I'm trying to look for that person. Next time we at the fight.
They just give me my check, and I'm gracious and I'm humble about it, and I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I look at them, like, oh man, I can't believe it.
You put it in your bag, zip your bag up.
Sometimes it depends.
Good, you trust it.
Yeah. Cause Kelly Pavick had a story one day where he lost his check.
Really?
Yeah. He
Wow.
lost a big check in Atlantic City.
Are you one of the guys that pay attention to social media? We all, I mean, all fighters get negative comments towards them and hate. So I call it hate. Do you pay attention to that? Sometimes does it get to you?
It used to, but now as I got older, I was like, man, who am I? You know, because I ran into a couple people. You know, one dude was from Brooklyn saying such and such. And, you know, I moved through Brooklyn. So
yeah.
I called somebody, you know this person? They found out who it was. Got the dude's number. You know what I'm saying? And no, I just gave him a call. It's like, brother, you know what I'm saying? What's good? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know, do you know me? Right. You know what I mean? Right. Because, like, the way you talking to me, you sound very upset. And I seen that it wasn't. He was like, no, that person, I'm just somebody, it was like a bunch of lies. But I just learned that usually, you know, the internet give a person a way to be more evil than they already are. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It gives them a platform. You hear that, internet gangsters? How's it like getting a call from Peter King Chocolate Quillen? Like, what you said again?
So it always happens.
You know, you see the video with Deontay Wilder
when he beat up his predator.
The predator.
Right.
So you know what happened? He had beat up a troll, but you got guess what happened? It still didn't do nothing because the dude wasn't right in his head. Well, he wasn't right in his head. Right. Just for Deontay Wilder, I was happy for him.
What it was he mentioned his daughter.
That's what it was.
His daughter in a negative
way. Don't mention
nobody
kids.
No way.
Do you want to avenge your loss against Danny Jacobs?
Man, I'm a street dude. Of course I do.
So you think about that often?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm not saturating thoughts about it because you know it's a different chapter in my book right now. You know, I'm considering moving up in weight. I should have been moved up in weight. You know what I mean? But like I said, I don't want to make an excuse like I'm trying to exit out, getting a fight. You know, at that time, I was trying to get the fight at a higher weight, at a catch weight. Because, you know, I've been the same weight for, 11, 12 years of my professional career. You know, I don't really know no dude that can do that. You know what I'm saying? And
it's tough.
Yeah, it's very, very tough. And, you know, a lot of times when I go hit that scale, man, I go look at myself. And then I see myself in the picture and I go, no lie, I go upstairs and I break down crying. Like, cause I look bad. And I feel bad.
Sick.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you look bad, you feel bad. It's just all not a good feeling to have. So, you know, like I said, but now I'm in the hands of somebody I know that's going to, work his best to make sure that, when I'm getting in that ring, I'm feeling real good about myself.
Now, who's that?
Virgil Hunter.
Virgil Hunter.
Yeah.
Trainer of Andre Ward.
Yeah, man. And Andre, man, I'll tell you right now, Andre want to be great. So Virg helps him to get that greatness, but it's already in Andre's heart to get that. So he worked without Virg telling him to do something. I see the dude, he's inspirational to be working next to when a guy packing his own bag, driving himself to the gym. Do you know how I've been trying to think like a superstar, like having a driver, having somebody pack my bags? You know what I'm saying? Made me humble myself now. So I'm thankful to be.
So you were doing that. You were guilty of that.
I was, because when you start getting money, you start thinking handicap. It's almost because there's so much accessible help for you, or it could be help at times, but at sometimes it'd be more stress.
So is it safe to say that sometimes when you get a lot of money, the foundation you kind of forget?
You see people go crazy off of getting a lot of money. It's hard for people to stay the same, and I think my whole thing was like trying to stay the same, keep what's true inside of me to the front and not lose that. But sometimes you go that way, but you have to get yourself back on track, and that's where I was like.
What keeps you that way? Like what keeps you centered where? Because you and I had conversations of you even notice it in yourself where you one of those guys that money hasn't changed you, and you've been around people that you've seen a change. So what is it about you?
I mean, I would say God is definitely the one that's the biggest, and I think for me to come in the game like I wasn't ever broke, and I try to play like I'm all this rich boy and all this.
You were broke.
I was broke. I
mean, sleeping on the trains.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
Down to the bottom. So I know what it feel like being on the bottom. So I think it wouldn't be humble for me to be like, thinking otherwise. Sometimes I even think I'm back on that floor. You know what I'm saying? So. I think that's what majority what keeps me humble, and then like I said, I'm getting money, but that doesn't mean that I don't got family that's still like broke, you know what I'm saying? So I have to have these conversations with them, and I tell you right now, a lot of times the language is different all the time.
Have you had that conversation with one person that had his hand out one too many times?
Man, yeah. I bound a lot of people out of jail, man, you know what I'm saying? I should be a bondsman.
Because
You know what
the
I'm saying?
answer's not money. That's what I'm thinking. All of this stuff.
No, man, it's always when you got money, it's easy. I hear the worst stories. It's everybody gonna come with their best sob story.
Right. So on the flip side, what's the craziest thing Kid Chocolate ever did with his money? And you look back and said, why did I do that?
Man, I'm looking at my jewelry. I'm looking at my jewelry now. I'm looking at my cars. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to like ask I got 2 feet. While I got a 100 pair of sneakers, you know what I'm saying?
Is that Corvette getting on your nerves?
No,
Okay.
I ain't say all that.
We can borrow that.
I just said, I just got, I got 2 Benzes and I got a Corvette and I got a Vespa. I'm on my Vespa a lot more, you know what I'm saying? I got too many pair of shoes, too many shoes. I just try to find a way to, make as much as I can. And also, at the same time, I try my hardest to think about a way to give it all away.
Al Heyman, he's the infamous advisor in the sport of boxing to all of the champions, the young champions, from Floyd Mayweather to Adrian Broner, yourself, Daniel Jacobs, everybody else. I mean, who the hell does he not have?
He got us.
He don't got Canelo.
We
don't got
signed him
Canelo.
and we don't even know it. But honestly, this guy is overpaying fighters. Let's be
You
real.
think so?
I mean, that's the
He's
narrative.
talking to a fighter.
Listen.
You get paid.
No.
too much.
But I'm not saying I agree with it. That's the narrative out there. He is overpaying fighters because the way I look at it is, maybe these promoters, and I had a conversation, I forget who it was, I think you might have been there, where a gentleman said, no, these promoters in the past just been underpaying fighters and not giving them what they deserve. Al's just giving them what they deserve. I'm pretty sure you look at it that way.
Man, I look at it like this. You know how many people go really and take that Muhammad Ali act into preparation, enforcing. Nobody do, because nobody know how. You ain't dealing with guys that went to college. You dealing with dudes that came from a struggle that don't know no better, usually. So a lot of us get taken advantage of. Now, it's a lot of dudes, I could say F they money up, but we could say that about a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's about that. I think it's about a character. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's just like, man, I didn't change my life. Boxing saved my life. I could have been in your house, taking everything you got. That's kind of Pete I could have been. But now I didn't change the road, and I'm telling kids, you ain't got to do that. You can do what I did and put my mind in something and work hard towards it. I'm glad that it took almost 11 years for that to pay off. So it's hard for people to say that when these you know how much Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao got? That fight probably generated about $1 billion worldwide, bro.
Absolutely.
What's money?
So I want to know what type of cut Al Heyman is getting,
Man,
for his advisor. I'm saying from you.
For me, I really don't give a shit.
So he takes it off the top.
I don't know where he's taking this from, but I just know that
like
he's
the
paying
check
more. Yeah, it's just like, I'm not gonna complain. Like I know what I was getting paid before, and I know I seen a big difference when Al came in the picture. I seen a big difference.
Huge.
And everybody says that.
Yeah, man. Al is a black man. Let's say that Harvard grad, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say, he know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? And when I talk to Al, man, he's like an inspirational dude. You know what I mean? Because usually I don't have language talks like that with guys that's black on that level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Harvard business grad.
man,
Al, can you shoot that number out there? I mean, are you comfortable with that, or what you got paid for that last fight?
Like I said, just like added up, I got over $250,000 worth of jewelry. I own like $1 million something in real estate. You know what I'm saying?
You invested in your state, Michigan?
I got a portfolio with a 529 plan for my kids' education. I got commercial real estate. I invested with my dude Hans Winkler. You know what I'm saying? I got a retirement plan for myself in state, you know what I'm saying? And me and my wife got a house in New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? So, y'all can add those numbers up. I just know I tried my hardest to tie up all my money, so when somebody hey Pete, man, I need that new scalp, man.
Money tied up.
Nothing liquid, man. Just, I think that's the hardest people especially black people to know is like, in our culture, everybody tell you how to make the money, but nobody ever tell you how to manage that money. You know what I'm saying? How to maintain. That's why you hear a lot of black athletes needing money. It's all the same kind of thing. It's always the sad story, man.